we're about to go into a special tour, and they chose this spot because they also get pure water from these areas. So they were explaining that Kavalan never has a shortage of water because they're right by their own mineral water bottling plant where they have endless amounts of water. So quite smart actually. And if you can see in the background, we're going to eventually get there. Huge distillery and maturing warehouse. We're about to enter the area where they take care of the barrels just for the Vigno Barrique. They do the process called the STR process. It's called shaving, toasting and recharring, where literally it means that they shave the barrel, inside the barrel, they toast it and rechar it. And that's only for the Vigno Barrique, so no other whiskey gets that process. So this is that process here we're about to look.
There's a nozzle, here it's going, here, I'm fighting it, look, good. Okay. Okay. There's a lot of heat in there.
Wow.
That's huge, eh? You like that.
As you can see behind me, this is the last stage of the STR, the recharring, and they're just recharring this barrel and it's done. So that was less than 60 seconds, so it's probably close to what the Americans call an alligator char, but yeah, it's quite a deep char. So what they do is they toast it first before they rechar it, so it releases the flavors of the wood before they char the actual wood. So that's a slightly different step to some distilleries.
The rinsing and filling area.
So we just had a look at the production line from where they bottle, they rinse, they blend. So all of this is actually different barrels, and they have a recipe that they stick with for the blending to make sure it's the right proportion and the right flavor. And you're probably wondering why there's no age statement on Kavalan whiskey. The reason is because the climate here can get extremely hot, and so age is not always going to be the factor anyway when it comes to good whiskey. What we'll find is the agemanship is all too great to actually keep it for decades and decades like Scotland or other parts of Europe. So age, because of the heat, because of the size of barrels that are used, can actually be accelerated in the contraction of the activity inside the barrel. So age can become a bit of a skewed thing. And that's why Kavalan is not focused on age, it's focused on flavor and maturation, actual maturity of the spirit. So yeah, it's quite cool to see this. It looks so high tech, everything's so shiny, everything's so shiny, and then you look at the contrast over picture the barrels, you know, you get like the rusty bands and the old barrels versus the stainless steel and the new equipment. Quite cool to see that kind of contrast happening. Old meets new. Old meets new. As I enter the distillery, we're about to head up. You can smell that brewer's beer in the air. So Kavalan has to import malted barley from Northern Europe because they can't grow the right type of barley in Taiwan. It's just not doable at present. So the malted barley is imported from Europe. Because out of experimentation, they actually fill these barrels with new make, and this is just how they identify it. We fill the date and the barrel number. So all of these are filled with new make, and they just want to see what happens and experiment a little bit for fun. So this is peated barley. When you look at the two, the difference is just worlds apart. That one's very earthy and very woody, and this one is resiny and oily. And you can really see why peated whiskey has that oily, pungent smell. So they use Kavalan uses two types of yeast. One is designed for maximum alcohol fermentation, and the other one is designed for body complexity and a more flavor profile. So having two works quite well hand in hand. And these are the different barrels that are used. So they import the barrel as is, and they don't disassemble it and reassemble it like a hogshead. They bring it in and they obviously clean it and get it ready for maturation. Some of them are recharred and toasted, but they don't disassemble the barrel. The barrel comes straight here as is.
I did or haven't mentioned here. So for the sharing, how sharing.
So what spirits in here right now?
Sherry.
Actual sherry. So this is actual sherry in this big sherry butt with a glass top. And what you can see floating there is the flora. So just like anything that is aged, whether it's hamon or cheese, you get that flora that grows on top. You only achieve that with the right conditions, humidity, temperature. And that is why when you have some heavily sherry whiskies, it actually has that funk, that smell, sulfuricness because of that. I've never seen that before. That's really fascinating actually. That's quite cool to see. So this just outlines the kind of charring level the barrels go through, a little bit light, medium and heavy. So a lot of people who drink bourbon will be very familiar with this. If you have a look over here, how smooth it is compared to the second and the third. So in the US, they actually have a term called alligator char. The alligator char is named so because it looks like the back of an alligator. So that's, you look at the char, it looks like the back of an alligator. That's why it's called an alligator char. This is quite cool, this board, because of the temperature here. You can't age it too long in the barrel or else you'll have nothing left. And this shows you new make and the barrels and the typical coloration changes as you go through the months. And after 4 years, that's the kind of color change you get. So it just shows you how active the barrels are here. Not because of any artificial coloring or anything that they do. It's just the barrels contract and expand much more than most places because of the differential in temperature. There you go, look at that. Can we sneak in there and have a taste? So after the fermentation process, just for pure interest's sake, they distill it to about 70%. But because of regulations, they have to cask it for maturation at about 60 to 59%. So that's just something quite interesting. So every country differs in their approach, regulation and method, but here it's more regulation driven why they do that. But here you go, here's the shot of the stills. I tried to see if we could sneak in there and have a sip of the new make, but she said no. Just out of interest sake as well, Kavalan does double distillation. A lot of distilleries, they're now starting to make gin as well. Because gin is very popular, it's very drinkable, and it doesn't need to age like whiskey. Whiskey ages, to be recognized as whiskey, needs to be 3 years minimum. Gin can come out of the still, in the bottle, and out the door and sold. So these are all gin. So talk about diversifying. And sad news is that there's not gonna be that many independently bottled Kavalans coming out. It's just the way they do it. But maybe one day. Maybe one day. So in this room, it smells like whiskey, and you can see why, because of the barrels here. So just a quick note, they put the smallest barrels on the first floor, and then as the barrels get bigger, they put them in the second and third floor because it's hotter, and so it gets more action as opposed to here, the smaller barrels need less action. And you can just smell whiskey in here. You can get drunk from the fumes, I swear it. Because all those kids were running around and didn't know what to do. The DIY room. The DIY room is where you get samples of different whiskies and you blend them yourself. So it's still a single malt, but obviously it's all from the same distillery. But you get to blend yourself a bottle to take home. So we're about to blend our own whiskey. We have 3 barrel samples over here, and we design our own proportions of the barrels and then decide which one is going to be our final bottling. And look, it's like a little science lab, like Breaking Bad whiskey style over here. Look at this. I will replicate this formula. In the mouth. So I have chosen my winning ticket, and I believe it is sherry heavy. I believe the third sample is a port cask, like a wine cask of some sort. I think it's a port cask, but I can't be too sure. It's hard to tell, but here I have my private bottling. cool is that? This is a flight that we're doing in Kavalan. So I'm doing this special episode because I am 5 drams in, so I think it will be extra entertaining. And so we're starting with the classic Kavalan. Classic Kavalan is designed for cocktails, easy sipping, smooth, and basically entry-level price point as well. And it's obviously it's a blended whiskey, but it's from the Kavalan Distillery. As you can hear, the tourists are downstairs celebrating because there's a free tasting area downstairs. So just, it's very easy to drink. It's very low ABV. I'm presuming that it's a heavy bourbon influence with a few other barrels mixed in. Very easy drinking, good with cocktails, and it's a chill filtered whiskey, so it doesn't turn cloudy with ice, which is something that apparently people don't like, which I don't understand. The second dram we have is the Solus Oloroso Sherry. So sherry is the most accepted and it's the most palatable whiskies out there because it is sweeter. And apparently in Taiwan, sherry cask is the most popular as well because it is sweeter, it is very palatable. And you can taste the fruit cake in there, but it's got a bit of a spice to it. Now, all Kavalan whiskey that we've got here is a no age statement. Just to let you know, it's a perfect highlight to no age because a lot of people think age equals goodness, but that's not true. It's all about the barrel selection, the barrel processing, and obviously the environment. And Taiwan is hot, so contraction and expansion of barrels quick, so you get a lot more. I mean, look at that color. Look at that color. That's a no age statement. That's a no age statement. It's probably like 4 to 5 years old. And look at that barrel activity there. The Solus Oloroso, that's a session whiskey. You can sit down in one night, bottle kill it, and that is very much something you can just keep hitting in one night. I'd say a strong Cuban would be good for that one, a Cuban cigar, because it's quite sweet. And the third one is the Vino Barrique. So far this has been my favorite. The Vino Barrique is just a smack in the face. A smack in the face. It's got nuttiness. It's got a bit of dank earthiness. It's got real character. The Vino Barrique has got real character. Fantastic. And the next one is the King Car Conductor. So I've tried this already. It's a little bit low ABV for me. It's very easy drinking though, so if you don't like it high ABV, this is going to be a good one. Complexity is really good for low ABV. Slightly floral flavor, floral note, on the nose. And I'm trying to do this express, so I'm getting drunker as I get through them as well. Marzipan, green apple. And quite a heavy, a slightly heavier tannin compared to the other ones we've had so far. You can really taste the tannin in there. But that could be from the ABV, because the lower ABV, then the more it opens up the whiskey that potentially can taste other things that might be masked by the alcohol. So that's a hard one. And this one here is the peated cask. The peated cask. It's not a peated barley, it's a peated cask, and we're not allowed to know which cask it is that's peated. It's a secret, but all we can do is speculate. I mean, there's not, there's obviously a select few peated casks out there when it comes to Isla. I'm presuming it's Isla, but it is over. So far, this and the Vino Barrique is my favourite because it's it's a peated cask, but for the cask, it's giving off a lot of peat. It's fantastic. And the peat just adds a little bit of complexity, oiliness, resin, spice, a bit of ginger, white pepper to the malt itself. It's a really good one. So I highly recommend the peated cask. And I'm guessing, if I were to guess, I mean it's too hard, but it wouldn't be Lafroy because Lafroy just tastes like ash. But I'd say probably, and the chances of Ardbeg giving up casks, I'm not sure really, but you know, I'm thinking maybe it could be a Kulila, could be an Ardmore, which is not not an Isla, but it could be an Ardmore. I'm not sure. It's too hard to tell. The next one is Manzanilla Sherry. Now I have never had a Manzanilla Sherry before. It's not as spicy as the other sherry cask. A little plum, like a plum jam. Vanilla. Oh wow. Really dry. Really dry and chalky. High ABV. I'm not sure what ABV it is, but I can feel it's a high ABV. I quite like that one. Very spicy. It's got a heat to it. It's not a new make spirit heat, which I don't particularly like most of the time. It's a heat. It's a spice heat, like a mild chili. But very delicious. Very delicious. Okay, I have to slow down. So, what I said was the Manzanillo was actually the Solus Port. Because I'm 5th dram in, so that's your fault.
Why don't you try the Manzanillo?
Oh, let me try the Manzanillo. Yeah. I can lose count, right? I don't need this, John. I don't need this. I don't need this negativity in my life. Oh wow. The Manzanillo is so good. It is not dry at all, as I said, because I made a mistake. The Manzanillo it's got a syrupy sweetness. The mouthfeel is fantastic. It's quite viscous. It's like a berry compote explosion. The nose is a little spicy, a little fruit cakey, but not too much. To be completely frank with you, I'm not entirely sure what a Manzanillo is. So the next scene, I'm going to Google it and then I'm going to tell you what it is. But the Manzanillo is very good. The ABV is quite high of the Manzanillo. I'm not entirely sure the ABV is. What is the ABV of the Manzanillo?
57.
57.
I think so.
57. So it's quite, and there is no heat to the Manzanillo, and there's actually quite syrupy, sweet, very approachable. Even for the high ABV, it's actually very approachable. I really like it. I think the Manzanillo is a session whiskey. I think that could be a session whiskey. You could sit and just do the bottle all night. So first I have to apologize. I've been saying Manzanillo because the alcohol is getting to me a little bit. It's Manzanilla. And so it is a form of sherry. So there's a lot of sherries in Spain, and Manzanilla is one of them. And it is a form of sherry cask, and it's absolutely delicious. The Manzanilla cask, I think, is so far my favorite with the Vinho cask. Solus Muscatel.
That will be good.
Oh wow. It smells quite leathery. Very distinct. It's got a funk to it. It's got a definite funk to it. Cedar. It reminds me of unlit tobacco, like opening the humidor and you get that. Oh yeah. Cigars. Oh. Oh. That is just delicious. That is actually, I'm a little excited. Oh wow. The tannin, very tanniny, spicy, like a reduced fruit jam, like a fruit reduction. Oh, the finish is fantastic. It just gets better and better. And that's the last one. So you don't have to put up with me anymore. Now I was going to add water in every single one and then review it, but if I did that, I could be comatose, so I won't. We've had 8 drams in one go. I don't usually do this this is an express review because we are at a distillery and I have to remain civilized. I am civilized, but that was fantastic. I'd say that my favorite would be the Vino, the Muscatel, and the Manzanilla. That would be my favorite. And then the peated one actually is exceptional, just because the contrast of the peated one is fantastic. So this demonstrates to you that so age is just a number. Just shows you it's the environment, it's the distillation method, it's the barrel selection that actually makes a big difference. Fantastic. And the next thing, we're going to show you the warehouse. And while we're at the warehouse, I'm going to try and steal some spirits. I'm going to try and get in there. So we're about to enter the warehouse, the Cave of Wonders. I'm going to do unspeakable things to the barrels. I smell that. Oh. So I'm going to try and sneak in. I'm going to try and lick a barrel.
No.
That's why I asked. I thought I saw that string.
And this as well. We're on the upper floor with the bigger barrels. Just warmer here as a general temperature. So they have the bigger barrels here, so the big sherry butts. There you go. I love big butts. You can tell we've been tasting this one a bit. It's been awesome. We've had to blend our whiskey, bottle it ourselves, and we've also gone to obviously the normal tour, and they've been kindly enough to let us in to the warehouse and have a sniff at a barrel. And that was really cool, as you've seen. And that's something that no one, normal people aren't allowed to do, which is quite cool. We've been able to do it, and that's very exciting. And I spoke to the sales manager about independent bottles of whiskey. So hopefully in the future we'll see a lot more IBs of whiskey. Right now we're not going to see that much, but hopefully in the future we'll see a bit more. Yeah, and you are actually able to come here and say I want to buy an entire barrel for myself. I don't know how much, but I'm going to investigate because I'm curious. But I think IBs is the future in terms of marketing for them. And yeah, look, very exciting. Thank you for joining me, and see you again till next time. Age is just a number. Sorry. And I'm slurring my words because the alcohol has gotten to me.
You have to put it in a paper.
Yeah, you do.